Hey, good morning, Seville. How's it going?
Hello.
Fractal team. You've been at a hackathon this week. What have you been up to, you guys?
Who wants to start?
Why don't
Go
you
ahead.
introduce
Yeah,
yourselves and say what you've been doing? So this is the second year of the Fractal Hackathon. Is that right?
yeah.
This
What?
second hackathon in this year.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Second
So
hackathon this year. Oh wow. Okay, well, I'm losing track of all time.
this is the fourth day of the second Hackfest.
Okay, 2.4.
Um, and this time we're in Seville, where Danny like organized everything. So thanks for that. Thanks, Danny.
Cool.
But like the Wi-Fi at the university is not great, so that's why we're here in the apartment.
Okay.
So let's hope that works.
So have you been hacking at the university or at the apartment?
No, at the university.
Okay, you've
The
just been
last
doing your
day.
best
So
with the
today we're
internet.
here to have the call
Okay.
hopefully work. So I mean, basically, the plan for this Hackfest is like at the last Hackfest, we decided a whole bunch of like super long-term things, like where we like to take the project with the app split and a bunch of things like that. And since then, we've basically been kind of working towards that without like a super clear direction. And this Hackfest is kind of to focus that effort and like get the storage stuff working and so on. But that's I'm the designer here, so like this is probably something for these guys to report on.
Okay, speaking of these guys, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Sure. So hi, I'm Tobias, and I do design stuff.
I'm Julian. I'm doing mostly the GTK part developing.
Hmm.
I'm Daniel. I'm doing the full thing.
Maintainer.
I'm the maintainer of the application.
The full thing.
I'm Alexandre. I write code and I do a bit of project management.
Cool.
And I'm Alejandro. I'm a newcomer. I just came. I started doing stuff just in this Hackfest. So basically, right now I'm dealing with a few things in the backend.
Cool. And you're local, aren't you? You're living in Seville?
Yeah, I live in Seville.
Great. That's awesome. Yeah, thanks for the introductions. So what sort of things did you plan to do this week?
So I think the core part is to implement the storage, or actually more general backend, because right now we have the front end mixed in with core matrix related things like I don't know, parsing the messages and stuff.
Mhm.
And now we we plan to create a backend, which Daniel is already working on, by implementing a new storage based on SQLite,
Okay.
SQLite, no, how do you, whatever,
SQLite, nobody knows.
SQLite, I'm gonna call it that way. And yeah, basically, the core part we are doing right now is implementing a real backend and having a real storage, which we don't do yet. And I myself, I just started implementing, rewriting the sidebar, for example, to have it update more in a better fashion,
Mhm.
like using more GTK and glib features.
So Julian, is that related to the work you did recently with the Vue? Because I know that you did a huge rewrite of some of that stuff.
Yes, basically the similar thing, but a step further.
Okay.
Like all the things I learned during the refactor of the room history,
Hmm.
I'm applying to the sidebar now and doing hopefully a better job than I did for the room history.
Oh,
Because
really? Okay.
So then you're gonna rewrite the room history.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a
I would
never-increasing
rewrite
circle.
the room history. I already started doing a branch on that. Like I already started refactoring that.
I see. Okay.
So that's a good thing about Fractal right now, that we are at the point where we can replace parts of it. Like we started off having a huge blob of code, and
Hmm.
we couldn't change much without changing like everything.
Yep.
And now we have like the view. Just drop in a new room history view and it works.
Hmm.
That's a good thing about Fractal, and we are continuing in this direction to get it more modular. So even
Yeah.
if you want to have a different UI, you can just do it without changing much of matrix-related code.
Does
That's a bit
GTK
good.
help, or GTK Plus, does it help here, or is it a hindrance?
Sorry.
Does GTK help?
I'm pretty sure the GTK is pretty useful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure it is helpful. I just wondered how, what benefits you were getting from GTK. But I guess the modular part of it is what you're really getting.
I think right now GTK is really helping to do things, but I learned GTK like 2 years ago or something with a project, and then forgot everything about it. Then got into Fractal, and now rediscovering really nice also glib features, which makes it so much more simple to update the UI basically if you have data changes.
Cool. So have you got anywhere on the end-to-end encryption side of things? I mean, it sounds like you've been focusing more on the split out and the back end, but is there any news there?
I think for end-to-end encryption we need a backend.
Yeah.
We need the storage. We need a persistent storage.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically the core thing why I'm pushing so hard on the backend and storage thing, because we want E2E, and we only can get that if we have persistent storage.
Right.
And we cannot rely on the data.
That makes sense. And I say that Hayes, is it Hayes, is working on the Rust Elm stuff still.
Yeah, he's working that. I think he's at a good point, at least he says so. We had a call yesterday with him.
Oh, cool.
And he said he can now decrypt messages with his library.
It's better than Riot though sometimes.
Yeah. And basically he confirmed us that we need the backend so we can interact better with his library. Because right now there is no real place where you could hook in a decrypting library for the messages. So he was really confirming that we are moving in the right direction with the code base of Fractal.
It's great to not have that tied into Fractal. That means that anybody who's going to build something with Rust is going to get these features. The next Rust people that come along are going to get a big benefit. So that's super cool.
No,
We are
cool.
also actually untying like Fractal, like the backend, and we have right now an API which does all the HTTP requests and stuff, which is already in place, which is not relied on, which does not rely on glib or anything, and we will keep that way. So we will have the backend, which is on one side pure Rust, and on the other side it's glib. But you could replace the, let's say the left side, which talks to the GTK application with a different infrastructure, different API, and reuse most of the code, the backend part.
Very cool. So, out of interest, Julian, your stuff on this is being sponsored by Purism. Are they supporting the Hackfest itself, or is this just part of your work with them at the moment?
I'm not anymore sponsored by Purism.
Okay.
It was a month thing for the last month.
I can maybe say like Purism's contribution is basically sending me here. So like for this Hackfest, that's that, I guess.
Oh, they sent you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, they're very good.
Awesome. Thank you, Purism.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm here for GNOME. Like GNOME is sponsoring.
Oh,
my
okay,
trip.
cool. So from the
So,
foundation itself.
Yeah, the GNOME Foundation, obviously, not the software.
Yeah.
I think
Cool.
also your trip is sponsored.
Yeah, I'm
by-
sponsored by the foundation too.
Great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Apparently all the foundations are in the bedroom upstairs.
Yeah.
Interesting what they're doing.
Or are they some sort of deity that you guys are very pleased to?
So what other things have been going on? Have there been any particular dramas? I think you were meant to be looking at the sync load time too. Has there been any discussion of lazy loading? Anything that we can do to help on that?
Load time.
Actually, we didn't discuss it yet.
it
We
was
put it on the
Hackfest.
agenda, but didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't got around yet to talk about it.
It could be really easy because, especially as you don't have the persistence there yet, if you just turn on lazy loading now, and I think it's just the lazy load members true value in the filter, then it will shrink the sync sizes by a factor of about 6 and speed up the creation by a factor of about 3 or 4. And you can then build the app further, assuming that you don't have all the members all the time. Whereas it's a real pain with something like Riot, where the whole app assumes that it always had all the members. So when we got rid of the members, unless they're active, then we had to redo everything. So this would be a really, really good place to just do that one line change in the filter to turn it on, and then everything will speed up. And hopefully nothing will crash.
Yeah, I would like to do it, but
Yeah.
Daniel has some concerns about it because maybe Fractal is not really ready. I never really looked into the lazy loading, but right now we're not even using the sense value for the request, so we don't. We
Okay.
do an initial sync every time.
Yes,
So
we do an initial sync because we load the full list of rooms in the initial sync, and we get an initial 40 message for each room. So I think that we can remove that 40 message and only get when you click on a room. And when we change to the new backend, I think that we need to change that because if we want to store all the history in local, we need to sync and fill the gap between the last. So we need to make a I don't know if we should retrieve out or by request.
Well, the thing is that
We need to think about this because we need to store the something to that tell us that we don't have a complete history. I don't know if you know what I mean.
yeah,
Because if there is a lot of time between the previous sync and the next one, you don't have the full list of
yes.
messages. And I think that we don't want.
I think we should only sync like the first 40 messages we don't see. I mean
The last?
the first 40 new messages or something.
Yeah.
Like the first new batch. If you have like a message T, and then and there were like 400 new messages, then we don't load all those 400 messages, but only T plus 40 messages. Not even the newest message because we don't care yet about that.
Yeah.
Because the user wants to read the conversation. If he scrolls down, then it's fine. We have to load them.
right, the thing is that even if you're not persisting or especially as you're not persisting things yet, and you do an initial sync every time, if you lazy load, it will speed up the initial sync by like factor of 3, and the
Yeah.
amount of data will be much, much, much less because you only load the members who are talking in the room within those last
I think that
40
members are
messages.
unloaded. I think that we don't request for members now, but we request for a lot of messages that we don't show until the user click on the room.
Mm.
So we can speed up a lot.
Okay.
So wait, so
So if you're already filtering out all the members,
Yeah.
then yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
because lazy loading is just
There's
the
no-
room members, so
there's no
yeah, you're not
confusion.
loading them at all.
Sorry.
We understand that you're not loading the room members at all initially.
Yeah, we're not loading room members
Okay.
at all.
Well then, no.
Loading in the
Yeah, later.
in the detail, in the room detail widget.
Yeah.
I think.
No sooner. A little bit sooner.
Sooner.
Yeah.
When you enter in the
When
room.
you enter the room,
Okay.
because otherwise the autocomplete doesn't work.
Yes.
But we should change that.
Yeah.
I think on the API part we can improve a lot, but for me there's some confusion. Lazy loading and using the synth value, those are two different things. Like we could enable lazy loading with a filter, and using the synth is a different story, right?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So we would
Yep, they're
maybe-
completely separate.
Yes,
And just turning on lazy loading means that even when you do load the members for a room, it will only give you the ones which are active in the room. And that can be a big improvement for like Matrix HQ or Hash Gnome. And it will also get rid of all of the parted membership events, because previously we had loads and loads of members for everybody who had ever left the room, and nobody cares about that. So the lazy loading thing will just magically make them go away. So just turn it on and see whether it works.
Yeah,
because
we
it
should
might
do
help.
that. I didn't realize that's a different thing. Actually, I didn't look into it yet.
I created an issue, but I don't know if
Yeah, I saw it, but
something or
it's like
Well, it also hasn't landed properly in the spec yet. It's due in 0.5 with the CS API, and we haven't formally merged it in yet because we've been so drowning in the R0 server-to-server stuff, which luckily you guys don't need to worry about. But it will get
to differentiate if the history is linear or if there is a gap between, or we need to remove or
if we use Sense, Matrix has patches. It allows you to
So
download
we
a
need to-
patch.
we need
So
to store the information.
we do already. We store the patch.
No, we don't
Yeah,
store.
the Sense value is the
Yeah,
current
but
patch
it's
we
it's
have.
in the room, the scenes, but we store only one scenes.
No,
wanna
we store
continue?
both. We store both.
Okay.
It's like being in the room.
There are two Sense. One for the initial thing and one for each room. Sorry.
Is the audio
Okay,
working
so
again?
sorry about that, guys. The audio capture thing that we're using to mix together the local and remote video audio even managed to crash. But we're back and we can finish it off now.
Yeah. So this is syncing. I guess this is doing a full initial sync on my 1,000 room account. So
Yeah, it could take a while.
it might. It literally says it could take a while.
So
Yeah. It was just to see like what else was on your agenda. So you said the lazy loading discussion was part of it, but you didn't get to it. What else have you guys been talking about this week?
So the last release we did was in September, which is not eons ago, but
Yes.
for us it is because a lot of things have changed.
Mm.
And we want to get a new release out soon. So we talked about that. We talked about the blockers.
Mhm.
We complained a lot about Julian breaking stuff.
Sorry about that, but rewriting things breaks things.
So yeah, we did a lot of cleanup on the bug database.
Yeah.
And we checked what the last blockers were.
Cool. So how close are you now to a release, do you think?
I think that not today,
Okay.
to be realistic, not today, but maybe Monday. I don't know, because we depend on other people tools to get the real release, because some Flatpak Rust extension is broken, I think.
Yeah.
So we need to fix, I think that 2 small books and do some tests.
We have
But we have two minor books.
not so minor. We have 2 blockers on our side, and
Okay.
the ambition is to get them fixed by the
I think-
beginning of next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we have already the merge request in place for both.
We need to test them.
Yeah, we need to test them, but they should work.
We have, or at least I have another problem, but
Oh, okay.
There's more
That's a
facts.
secret thing.
Okay, so is this related to, so earlier in the week I installed Fractal on a new VM and I had some issues with Flatpak. Is that related or is that?
What kind of issues?
So when I
VM?
installed it, I had to basically log out and log in again before I could
it's
see
not
it in the
that
Ubuntu
bad.
launcher.
It's about we use to store the login information, the token, the session token. We use the lead secret, the lead secret service. I mean secret
Yeah,
service.
you need something like GNOME keyring.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I couldn't access that until I logged out and logged back in again for some reason.
Sorry, screencast
Are we
being.
breaking again?
No, we're still here.
All right.
Okay.
Yay.
Thunderbird heckling us with calendar.
Yeah, we're
updates.
meant to be somewhere else. So yeah, so Monday maybe for a release. Certainly next week.
Maybe. Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. But that'll be big. That'll be the last big thing of 2018, I expect. For
I mean,
Fractal.
if we can get it back in a like faster release cadence, then maybe not.
Oh, really?
we used to
Yeah,
release.
I
we
think
used to release every week.
I
but
think that
Yeah, it would be really nice to have more of this.
we can work in the Indian sync improvement and have another minor release maybe soon, and then in a couple of months we can have another minor release with the backend refactor and
Maybe that should be a big
each
major release. Yeah.
a major release because
that is a
we
big
will
one.
refactor and build the full backend
Yes.
Cool.
and maybe some E2E encryption. I don't know.
Yeah, we will
maybe
see, but
a release
maybe.
and
We'll
then
So can we help in any way? Are there any questions for us or for me whilst we're on the line?
I mean, we were wondering the other day because like we were talking about sort of all the various super complicated ways to combine settings in Riot. Like, has that like sort of started?
Yeah.
We were talking about at the last Hackfest, sort of simplifying various things like room roles and like notification settings and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so first, I mean, obviously we've been redesigning Riot to finally get the new look and feel in place, and a lot of the underlying settings haven't changed. We've almost finished on the kind of cosmetic layer of the redesign, and are then going through fixing up the other stuff. I guess the main priority for us has been to fix end-to-end, because that is by far the biggest mess in terms of UX. And we've got our own designer, Nad, who works at New Vector, who does nothing but work on Riot's UX at the moment, who has been working through fixing those settings. So those are all about to get completely fixed. And we did a UX blog post about a month ago that had all the wireframes in XD showing how that would work. However, for simplifying settings beyond that and doing things like splitting up DMs and giving them sensible semantics, fixing all the community stuff, that basically happens next. And so we're probably going to be working on it in January at this rate. But
Right.
it's coming up soon. It's just that the end-to-end stuff has been like 4 or 5 months of work, frankly, across the team to try to get it looking good. And it's so close it's untrue. Cross-signing is done now. It got finished a few days ago. Verification is happening right now. The key backup stuff, which you'll need to worry about at some point, which allows Riot to optionally keep uploading, your matrix client of any kind to optionally keep uploading keys to the server so that if you lose your device, you can still get at your messages. All of that is done. It's just a matter of stitching it together with the sensible UX. So yeah, all of the end-to-end stuff changes completely in terms of the UX, which could be good timing, honestly, on your side, but the rest of it will follow.
Okay, that's cool.
Shall we
Yeah.
let you guys get back to doing useful things rather than chatting with us?
You can wrap it up. Yeah. So thanks. Sounds like it's been a pretty productive week. You guys have all been hacking away, hacking and designing.
Yeah, and thanks for patience and getting the call up and running. Audio is always a nightmare for these things.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys. You want to say goodbye?
Bye. Thank you.
See ya. Good luck.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.